What's up, everybody? Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Huddle with John, talking Steelers football. I'm your host, John, and I am excited and glad to be back with y'all again this week. And I'm always excited about coming on and talking Steelers football when we're coming off a W. So kudos to the Steelers for handling business at home this past Sunday against the Cleveland Brownies. Just to kind of echo the words of Ben Roethlisberger, who said that this was just going to be another bye week. Again, Ben Roethlisberger hates the Browns. He's hated them since he came into the league. He was pretty upset that they didn't draft him. They drafted a tight end back in 2004. The Browns drafted a tight end when he was available, and they needed a quarterback. I mean, of course, they needed a quarterback for their whole existence. Roethlisberger's from Ohio, played at Miami of Ohio, and was kind of, I guess, just kind of upset about the fact that they never drafted him. So he's always had a hate relationship with the Browns, but then also he's been able to back it up because he's beat them just about every time he's played them in his whole entire career. But anyway, enough about Ben. But he did say that this was going to be a bye week. But, what we want to focus on is that it should have been the game that it was. When the Steelers are trying to be dominant and they got goals to win their division and they got goals to eventually get into the playoffs with a home game and win the playoff game and eventually, get to the Super Bowl, you got to beat teams that you should beat. You have to do that. And we talked about this last week. The Steelers have historically been unable to do that, and that's unfortunate. Because it's derailed some great seasons that they've had when they were on a roll and they run into teams, that are 1-10 or 2-12 or 3, whatever, have horrible records and just not good teams. And they lay an egg, man, and and lose those games, and it ends up hurting their chances to have home field advantage or to have a home playoff game or win their division. And so when you come across these games, when you got a team like the Cleveland Browns who was starting a third round quarterback, I mean, this guy is a rookie and he was drafted in the third round. You got to beat them. There's no reason why you come out of that game losing, And so they took care of business. They did what they needed to do. Final score was 23-9. And so, for that, we are proud. We are glad. Excited that we get now going to this short week, which we tomorrow they turn around and play tomorrow the Cincinnati Bengals, and we'll talk about them in a little bit. But just to do a recap real quickly on the game from last week. Again, they came out a little slow this time, which has not been a norm for them. Under Aaron Rodgers, they've been coming out to shoot pretty quickly and scoring, getting right up on teams. But came out a little slow on Sunday. They got the ball, the drive down the field. I think they went around 46 yards or so, drove down the field. The drive stalled out. And I'm going to talk more about, some of the things that went wrong on Sunday in a minute. But that drive stalled out. Oz comes to the rescue, hits a 44-yard field goal. Game was 3-0. No more scoring in the first quarter. They get to the second quarter, started driving a little bit more, got down the field. Again, drive stalled out again, and they was able to kick Bonds able to kick a 50-yard field goal and put them up 6-3. And then they exchanged field goals in the second quarter. They got another field goal. They were up 9-3, and then Cleveland got a little drive going towards the end. Second quarter, right before halftime, and they was able to put some points on the board and get a field goal as they hit their kicker hit. I don't know that guy's name, but some crazy name. But he hit a 31-yard field goal and went into halftime. It was 9-3 Pittsburgh. But even with a 9-3 record, you can see that the Steelers were pretty much dominating that game. The defense was playing really well. They were doing their thing, stopping the run, forcing the quarterback to pass. So the defense was playing really well, and you could tell that the Steelers had this game pretty much at half. And the offense they were moving the ball. They just had some things that they need to clean up to help to keep drive sustained. As they wasn't really good on third down efficiency. The third down efficiency wasn't really good on Sunday. But again, when your defense is playing well and things like that, it's okay to not do anything dumb on third down to try to force the ball. So I like that about that. So it was like a good and a bad, in a way. Their third down efficiency, I think they was 5 for 13 on third downs. It was bad that they couldn't execute to get third downs when they had manageable ones, third and less than 5. But it was good in the sense that go ahead and punt the ball and don't force the ball on third down. Don't try to force the ball. Don't do nothing dumb. that might cause you an interception or give this team that's struggling any kind of break. You don't want to do anything dumb that would give them a break and allow them to get easy points, especially when you've been, having them on the ropes the whole game. So it was smart that they did that. Aaron didn't force the ball on third down anywhere. He wasn't trying to drive the ball in between defenders or anything like that. They didn't do any kind of crazy play calling on third down when it was third and long or things like that. So they punted the ball and or kick field goals, which is okay. It's okay to do that when your defense is playing well, especially playing against a rookie quarterback who's a third round draft pick. So it was 9-3 at halftime. They come out in the second half, and the Browns got the ball at the second half, and defense shut them down quickly. Steelers get the ball back in the third quarter after they exchanged punts a little. The Browns punted. Steelers got the ball. They punted, and then they got the ball back again. This time, the offense start coming to life. They start sustaining drives. Then you've seen them drive down the field, and Aaron Rodgers hits Connor Hayward with a beautiful pass, man. I'm gonna talk more about Aaron Rodgers in a minute, but what a beautiful pass that he had. He rolled out to the right of the formation, and it was like a play action pass. They rolled out to the right. They was all in man to man coverage. Connor was man to man on his guy in the end zone, and as he was rolling right, Connor was rolling right, but Aaron directed him to go back left. You could see him motioning the go back left to create some separation between him and the defender. And he was able to do that. And man, Aaron put the ball right on him. I mean, on the run. This guy is 41 years old, y'all. He's on the run. He's rolling to the right. He's directing the player who's going to the right with him to go back to the left. And he throws it back to the left and throws a dart. I mean, a laser dart right into the hands of Connor Hayward. And he caught that. And Connor Hayward has great hands. For those who don't know, Connor Hayward doesn't play a lot, because they got three tight ends in front of him. But what we do know about Connor Hayward, he is an athletic dude, man. And he could catch the ball. That boy got good hands. And what a great catch he made. Made sure that he secured it, made sure it didn't hit the ground as he went to the ground. And it was a touchdown. So let's go up 16-3. Browns come back to kick a field goal, kick a long field goal, 53-yarder, score 16-6. We go to the fourth quarter. Steelers, well, at the end of the third quarter, rather. The Steelers are driving at the end of the third quarter. Then they get into the fourth quarter, and they get the ball. They start the fourth quarter. Very first play of the fourth quarter. They got the ball at the Browns' 25-yard line, and Aaron hits DK Metcalf on what they call like a tango route. So basically, the wide receiver goes up, does a like a stop and go and go. He stops, stutter steps, fakes like he's gonna go inside and goes up. And Aaron pumps it to fake out the corner. The corner is the guy that they just traded for from the Jacksonville Jaguars. They just traded for this guy last week, and Aaron hits DK Metcalf right in the breadbasket for a 25-yard touchdown pass. Wonderful route, wonderful pump fake. And Metcalf sold it so good, man. He had that guy beat by like 5 yards into the end zone. And he caught the ball for a touchdown, 25-yard touchdown pass. And then Cleveland got a field goal in the fourth quarter, but pretty much the game was over. 23-9 was the score. Just some highlights of the game that I want to highlight, more on offense. The offense, I seen again, just seeing how Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator, he's calling really good games. He's doing things well. I love the idea of how the offensive coordinator, he takes plays and formations that the team has implemented in games previously, and he comes out with it in a new game, but he runs something off of it that's different than what the team may have seen on film. Like the very first play of the game, that's a play. This is a play that they have run before, and the sell of the play was this. You had Mount Washington, this big 6'9", 500-pound tight end who's the most athletic dude, big dude that you ever seen in your life. But anyway, he's lined up on the right side of the formation. He comes in motion into the line. Now, everybody knows, my team would know that the Steelers have done this before. This is the defensive keys. They've seen this before on film. And what they've seen on film is that this guy is their blocking tight end. He is the best blocking tight end. He may be the best blocker on the team, period, even amongst offensive linemen. But he is their blocking tight end, y'all. And he comes in motion, and he comes to the line right in the middle of the tackle and the right guard. And on tape, that would show that they're getting ready to run the ball in that direction. So everybody on the defense is keyed off of what they see Mount Washington do. And when they see him come in motion and stop right there, it's automatically going to be assumed, because we saw this on tape before, that this is going to be a run to the right. It's going to either be a zone run, a wide zone run, or a pitch play to the right. And so they hike the ball. Aaron sells it. It's not a run. It's a play action pass. Everybody is running up to the line thinking it's going to be a run because of what they've seen on tape, because of what they seen Washington do, and they let Washington run free into the right flat, and he's wide open. Aaron hits him right on the numbers, and he's gone, man, for a 36-yard gain down the field. And so I love that about Arthur, how he shows things on tape week before or other weeks, but then he comes out and does little wrinkles off of it. So what I heard him say is that yeah, we have a smaller playbook or a smaller plethora, well, not a plethora, but a smaller basket, if you will, of plays. But we have all these different options that we can run off of one play. So one play can look like 5 or 6 different things based off of what we want to do. And I like that about him because what it does is it helps the team, one, to know and master a play, but it also keeps the defenses off guard and that they can't key in on one thing because you don't know what it's going to be. It could be 5 or 6 different things off of that one play or that one formation. And so I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see the Smith, utilize their youth in the run game. They did well. They ran for 100 yards. Jalen Warren was back. And even though he only had 50 yards rushing, but he had a 4.7 yard average in terms of yards per carry. He ran the ball like 11 times for 52 yards. But, again, it was 4.7 yards a carry. That's great. That's great running. Kenneth Gainwell, he looked pretty solid. He had a couple runs. His average was about 3.7, but he had some nice runs. And even the rookie, Caleb Johnson, he got in the game. He had a couple of nice runs as well that got him first downs. Got a couple first downs while he was in there. So I like the running game where it's going over 100 yards rushing against Cleveland, which Cleveland was the number one ranked defense against the run, and so we was able to run 100 yards on Cleveland. And again, it was hard. There was some attrition that they had to get to in order to wear them down, but nonetheless, they was able to do it. Cleveland had they had the number one ranked defense against the run. They had the number 4 ranked defense overall. Aaron Rodgers, he looked solid. He looked efficient. And again, as I've been saying, I've told y'all from jump, and I'm reiterating to all my friends who asked me at the beginning of the year, what did I think about Aaron Rodgers? One thing that you cannot deny is that his arm talent is arguably the greatest arm talent that the NFL has ever seen. And at 41 years old, he is still showing it. I mean, on just about every single pass play that he threw, man, you've seen how accurate he is. When DK Metcalf had 4 catches for 95 yards, the one I told you about that was the score of 25-yarder, accurately put that ball right in his hands. The 1-2 Connor Hayward in the end zone while he's running right, crossing his body, throwing it back to the left. I mean, just a laser right to that man's hands. I mean, he didn't have to reach out for it. He didn't have to jump for it. He didn't have to go down for it. He caught it. I mean, hit him right in the hands, man. I mean, you just don't get no better than that. He hit DK Metcalf a couple other times on an out route that went up for a couple of like maybe 15 yards or so. He hit him on another sideline pass that went down the field. I think it was like 23 yarders. He hit him sideline pass, just hitting right on numbers. Now he did miss a couple. He did have Metcalf on a deep ball. Metcalf had burnt the corner that same corner that was watching him, number 7. Metcalf burnt him and had him beat, and I got to go back and watch it again. I meant to watch that play. I forgot. But I don't know why Rodgers badly underthrew him. But Aaron Rodgers is never known for underthrowing guys. If anything, he's known for overthrowing guys because that dude's arm is so strong. And he underthrew Metcalf on that one pass where that would have been a long bomb. I mean, but so he had a couple passes that he missed, but for the most part, Aaron Rodgers was efficient. He was 21 for 30. He had 235 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He had a 115.3 rating. A solid game by Aaron Rodgers. Solid game by the rushing attack. Solid game by the passing attack. Guys getting the ball, running after the catch, getting first downs. I was glad to see DK Washington. I mean, not DK Washington. Dwayne Washington, he had a nice game in the passing game, 3 catches for 62 yards. And they spread the ball around. We even seen Pat Fryman, he got a pass. It was only one, but it was a first down. We even seen the young guy, Roman Wilson, he got a pass, nice catch he made and run after catch. Another thing I like about the offense, they're giving guys the ball and giving them a chance to make, to get some yards after the catch and make some plays because of how fast most of these guys are and how athletic they are. So offense is looking good. They're trending up. Kudos to the O line. They've been ridiculed a lot, and rightfully so, because Aaron Rodgers has been under duress a lot. In the early parts of the year, they couldn't get the run game going like they wanted to in the early parts of the year, but they have uh, increasingly gotten better every week. One thing I would say is, looking at the tape, that they did a good job of keeping Aaron clean. Again, Cleveland is known to being they're the number 4 defense in the NFL. They got absolutely hardly no pressure on Rodgers. A couple times he had to bail out or whatever, but in terms of hitting him, there was no quarterback hits on Rodgers at all. He did not get hit once. There was no sacks. They got no sacks. They held Myles Garrett checklist, and he had 2 tackles. He had no quarterback hits, no quarterback pressures. He sniffed the quarterback one time, but by the time he got there, I mean, just because he was running full speed, and had already got the ball out, so he just ran right past him because it wasn't, it was no danger. But Myles Garrett did absolutely nothing in this game, and Myles Garrett is everybody in the media's favorite player, favorite defensive player in the league. And I'm willing to bet you that there was a lot of bets going on this past weekend, saying that he was going to outperform T.J. Watt. Well, he did not. He did nothing. He contributed nothing to this game that helped the Cleveland Browns win, and that's part of the reason why they lost. So, kudos to the O-line for handling Myles Garrett. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, those of you who follow my page, Huddle Up with John, you see that we posted this week that our player of the game was, once again, outside linebacker Nick Herbig. Man, that dude has come to play. And, I'm glad that the coaching staff decided that even though Alex Highsmith was back from injury, that they were still going to play Nick Herbig. And they did a great job of getting all of them on the field. One of the creative things that they did was they went to what's called a dime defensive look, with just one defensive lineman. It was one defensive lineman, 5 linebackers, and 5 DBs. And how they deployed it was we had T.J. Watt at the left end. They either put Highsmith or Herbig in at that left defensive tackle spot, Cam Hayward at the defensive tackle spot, and then Herbig or Alex Highsmith played on the outside linebacker. And then you had the 2 inside linebackers, Peyton Wilson and Patrick Queen, and then your 5 DBs. And so what they did was got all of their pass rushers on the field, Watt, Herbig, Hayward, and Highsmith on the field at the same time. Now, some people would think that was crazy because why in the world would you put an undersized outside linebacker at a defensive tackle spot who has to go up against a center or a guard who's probably like 2 times as big as them in terms of weight? Well, speed kills, right? I mean, Herbig got one of his sacks by beating the right guard and got to the quarterback. So, I mean, this boy, this is why I say he's the player of the game. He is a relentless pass rusher. He has good pass rush moves and skills. He has a feel for it. It don't matter where you put him at. They put him on the right side to play for Highsmith. He produces. They put him on the left side to fill in for Watt while Watt is catching a blow. Matter of fact, his other sack came from the left side of the when he was subbing for T.J. Watt when Watt was out getting a breather. His other sack came from that end where he got around the right tackle, made a nice move. It looked like a move that Watt does. I can't describe it. He just like kind of gets around him, he beats him around the bend, grabs his arm, and like springs him to the quarterback. And he was able to get to the quarterback and sack. And then the other one was towards the end of the game when they was driving down the field and he was at that defensive tackle spot. He just beat that offensive lineman, that interior lineman, beat him and was able to sack the quarterback. That pretty much ended their threat from trying to get a touchdown at the end of the game. Or actually, it actually turned the ball. It was 4th down, and that sack kind of ended the game for them and got the ball back so they can take a knee. But yeah, Herbig was the player of the game. He had 2 sacks. He had 6 quarterback pressures. He had 2 tackles for losses. Herbig was just he was that dude, man. He played a really good game, and he's been hot all year. That dude, he's our leading sacker. He's the leading sacker on the team. He's been the most, to me, next to Jalen Ramsey, he's been the most productive defender that we've had consistently for the whole entire year. And so, hats off to him. Nick Herbig is our player of the game for the game against the Browns. But the defense as a whole did really, really well. I mean, they held Cleveland to a 35% third down efficiency, man. They was only 6 for 17 on third down. That was great. They was getting after him. They had, I think, a total of There was a total of 18 quarterback pressures against the quarterback. Yeah, they was getting after him big time. He got hit. Yeah, he got hit 16 times um, this past game, and he was sacked 6 times. They sacked him 6 times, hitting 16 times. Now, the only thing I would say is things I was kind of disappointed in was they had opportunity to have some major turnovers, and they was dropping them. Man, you gotta get your hands on the ball. And they throw it right to you. Juan Thornhill, the free safety number 22, he had 2 passes hit him right in the breadbasket. I mean, right in his chest, right in his hands, and he dropped both of them. Joey Porter had a chance to get an interception down the sideline in the end zone, hitting right in his hands. Like the wide receiver didn't knock it out or anything like that. It just hit him right in his hands and went right off his hands. Got to be better at that. So hopefully they get on the jugs machine and do some work so he could secure those interceptions. Those interceptions would have been big. That would have been 3 turnovers. And I believe there was another one. Somebody else. Herbig. Herbig was another one. That's another one. Man, what a nice play he made. He faked like he was going to rush the quarterback. But when he seen the running back not stay in the pass protect and go out for a pass, he dipped out to go and cover the running back. And the quarterback threw it to him and hit him right in his hands. If he catches that ball, he's gone for a pick six, man. So he missed it. He tipped it and then tried to catch it. He couldn't get it. There was another one too, I think, on the sideline. But yeah, they had some opportunities to to get some turnovers, and they wasn't able to capitalize on them. But nonetheless, great defensive performance. They held this team to 9 points, three field goals, and they all 3 field goals was over 50 yards, which means they didn't drive, they didn't get close to the end zone a lot on Sunday. And that's a credit to the defense. So, credit to them. I want to just some honorable mentions of players in the game would have been Derek Harmon. Derek Harmon had a really nice game. He had a sack. Remember been TJ Watt. Man, TJ Watt they was only credited for a half a sack, but let me tell you about him, man. I was a little mad at him, to be honest with you, because he should have had 2.5 sacks this game. He got to the quarterback 2 times, but the sacks got nullified because of his own daggone penalties, man. He was lining up in the neutral zone. I'm like, bro, you lined up in the neutral zone twice. Like, pay attention. Like, pay attention to yourself going down the line. Where you at? But both of those times he lined up in the neutral zone, he got to the quarterback and sacked him. He even had a sack fumble that would have given us the ball, but they called it back because of the penalty. He was offside. So, but other than that, he was doing what he was doing, and he was wrecking havoc. Now, let me say this about T.J. Watt: he had 5 tackles. He had a tackle for loss. He hit the quarterback 3 times. He even had 2 passes defense. Like, out in coverage, man, he was just all over the place. And again, he would have had 2.5 sacks if it wasn't for his own dumb way of lining up in the neutral zone. But anyway, let me say this about TJ Watt. This is what I was saying about the Steelers defense and their ability rush the passer and get after the quarterback and help TJ Watt. Now, I mean, again, a lot of people wanted them to move him around, but that ain't his thing. He knows that. That's not my thing. He's good at the left outside linebacker spot. What needed to happen was everybody else on that daggone line needed to step up and do their job and release him from having to take on chips and double teams and triple teams. They can't chip him or double team him or triple team him if everybody else is doing what they're supposed to do by beating them one-on-ones and getting to the quarterback. But now we see that happening. You see Derek Harmon, now that he's healthy and he's back at that defensive tackle spot, he's getting to the quarterback. You see Cam Hayward, he's getting to the quarterback. You see on the other end, Herbig, was getting to the quarterback. That's forcing the offenses. You can't double TJ Watt and leave Herbig alone, because Herbig is just as efficient against the quarterback as Watt is, right? And so that's helping TJ Watt now get free and wreak more havoc. Again, he just can't be beating himself with these penalties, but he could have came out of this game easily with 2.5 sacks if not for those penalties. And it's mainly due to the fact that the Cleveland could not double team him and triple team him and leave Herbig and now Highsmith, who came back, leave him also out there on an island playing one-on-one with that left tackle. They needed to help him too. As a matter of fact, I've seen a couple plays where when Watt was out of the game, they had Jack Sawyer, the rookie outside linebacker from Ohio State. They had him at left outside linebacker, just giving Watt a breather, and they had Herbig at right outside linebacker, giving Highsmith a breather. Cleveland double teamed and chipped Herbig to make sure that he didn't get to the quarterback. So you see that the fact that they did that, no, that tells you that they were concerned about him as a pass rusher. And that's good. That's good going forward, because if he continues to have success, Highsmith continues to have success, that's going to free things up. Yeah, I mean, Harmon and Cam Hayward, that's going to free things up for TJ Watt to be able to get to the quarterback and have one on ones where he can beat them and get home. So again, that was great. Now, let me just real quickly share some information about that was cool highlights was inside linebackers, Patrick Queen. Man, Patrick Queen was all over the field. Him and Deshaun Elliott and Jalen Ramsey. Those three guys, they were doing their thing. Patrick Queen has in the last couple of weeks really stepped up and has been playing that middle linebacker spot the way we hoped and expected. And he was all over the field, showing off his speed, getting to screens and stopping screens from getting any kind of yardage, blitzing. He didn't get home for any sacks, but he was blitzing. He was in coverage. He had a nice at the end in the end zone. He was covering David Njoku, their big tight end, and he was able to get a pass defense. He was able to block the ball from Njoku from scoring a touchdown, which was major. That was big because he did have a step on him, but Queen was able to and knock the ball down and prevent him from catching it for a touchdown. Yeah, but Queen had a really good game. Deshaun Elliott he led the team in tackles with 12. He was all over the field, especially with stopping that run. And again, remember I told y'all last week to beware that this boy Junkins, the running back, he was nice, man. He did a really good job. He did a really good job last week against the Vikings, but the Steelers shutting down. I mean, they shutting down. He only had 36 yards, 3 yards of carry. He didn't do nothing against the Steelers, and that forced that because they were able to shut down the run. That forced Gabriel, the quarterback, to throw, and that's what we wanted, right? That's exactly what we wanted. We wanted to make them one dimensional and make this third round rookie beat us. He had to throw the ball 52 times. He threw the ball 52 times this past Sunday, and he did absolutely nothing with the pass. And now they was getting some little easy stuff over the middle, but the Steelers was giving that up in order to keep the ball in front of them and tackle the limit long passes or big games and things like that. So a lot of his completions, he had 29 completions. A lot of them came as a result of Steelers was giving them things in order um, to end the drive or to, again, the Steelers play that keep everything in front of you. You can catch the ball over the middle, but we're going to run to you and tackle and stop you from getting first down. And so that was a lot of his completions was those over the middle passes or whatever. So, again, kudos again to Elliott and to Queen. But man, Jalen Ramsey, what can you say about this dude, man? Like he's come here and he's just him and Aaron Rodgers. I just think that them two additions to this team has changed the mentality of the team because again, they got what I called last week that black mamba mentality, that Kobe Bryant killer instinct, man, where they are willing. I mean, they trying to take everything down. They don't take their foot off your neck. Him and Aaron Rodgers got that same kind of mentality, man. I love it. I love it because the Steelers ain't had that killer mentality since Ben in his heyday, or and that defense that they had back in their heyday. They haven't had that kind of keep your foot on their neck kind of thing, and don't let up. But Jalen Ramsey had a great game, man. He wasn't even expected to play because of the hamstring issue that he got, the hamstring injury that he got in Ireland against the Vikings. He went hard in terms of trying to get healthy so that he could come back and play in this game. He did, and he made a difference. And Bruh had 2 sacks off the edge. He had 6 tackles all together, 2 tackles for losses, and then hit the quarterback on 2 other occasions. Man, he was playing like he was an outside linebacker. I mean, Jalen, man, he was all over the field. He was making plays all over the field. Man, are we not blessed to have Jalen Ramsey? We so blessed to have Jalen Ramsey. You know what I did, y'all? You know what I did? Yeah, pray for me because I'm just addicted to these daggone jerseys. But after the game was over, I went right down there to that Steelers Pro Shop and I bought me a Jalen Ramsey jersey. I bought the jersey, the throwback that they're gonna wear next week against Green Bay. So when I go to the Green Bay game next week, I'm gonna have my Jalen Ramsey throwback jersey on. I'm repping Jalen Ramsey next week. Yes, sir. But he had a great game, man. And thankfully, we got him. And so, that's kind of what happened on this past Sunday against Cleveland. And we are again, 4-1. And Sunday, they got some help because nobody in the AFC North won. Everybody lost, right? We beat the Browns, the Bengals lost, the Ravens lost at home to the Rams. They got beat 17-3. And so we got another big game coming up on Thursday where we play the Bengals. Now let's talk about them real quick, and then I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna get on out of here, and we'll get ready for next week. But let me say this, y'all. Again, this ain't no cakewalk. And I'm gonna tell you how we know this ain't gonna be no cakewalk against the Bengals. Now, it may have been a cakewalk previously when they had Baron Browning as their quarterback, but as I told y'all last week, the Cleveland Browns traded Joe Flacco to the Bengals. Let me tell you how this has affected the psyche of the Steelers, because yesterday in Mike Thomas' press conference, he was asked, "What do you think about the Browns trading Flacco to the Bengals?" So Mike Thomas said, he said, "Well, quote, he said, Andrew Berry, the GM of the Cleveland Browns, he must be smarter than me." He said, "Because I can't seem to understand how you could trade a quarterback who you thought enough of to be your starting quarterback to start this year off, and then trade him to inter-division rival who is struggling at the quarterback position. Why would you give your starting quarterback away to your division rival who don't have a starting quarterback? That makes absolutely no sense." He said, "That's just my opinion of it." No, nobody understand why would you do that. And we've heard other people say it too, like Bruce Arians on the Pat McAfee show said, he said it's stupid. He said he called it BS. That's what he called it. He said it's stupid. It's BS. Why would you trade your starting quarterback to the Bengals, who are on the road? You got them on the road. They're on the road with injuries. Joe Burrow won't be back until December. This quarterback that they got is struggling terribly. I mean, he was struggling mightily. They got two. Arguably, they have the best wide receiver tandem in the NFL with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And they got some good tight ends too. Noah Fant is one of them. Why would you give them a quarterback who can get the ball out to those guys and help them to be successful? It just makes absolutely no sense that Cleveland would do something like that. And people say, "Oh, well, they got a fifth round draft pick." Who cares? Like that draft pick, you could have got a sixth round pick if you traded him somewhere else. But I'm not gonna give a team in my division who's struggling because they don't have a quarterback, give them a quarterback who's gonna now help them. And he came in and did just what was expected, right? Because last week, and Joe Flacco is a thrower. No matter how old he is, he can throw the ball. That's always been his thing. He always had a big arm, and he got the ball to them wide receivers. Chase has had 10 catches for 190 yards, 2 touchdowns. He ain't did that all year. He ain't did that all year because of the backup dude that was playing for Burrows. And now here he got Joe Flacco who's whipping the ball. So the fact that Mike Tomlin said that in his press conference yesterday suggests that even Mike Tomlin is a little worried about Joe Flacco. Yeah, so don't miss that, y'all. This ain't gonna be no cakewalk. They're gonna have to do some things that's going to get after Joe Flacco and limit his ability to throw that ball and get that ball to Chase and Higgins, man. Because when Chase get the ball in his hands, man, that dude can do dangerous things. That boy is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL. So there's a lot of people in the world who think that he may be better than Jay Jettas. You know, and that's an argument to be had. I ain't what I'm trying to make. I can care less. I'm worried about whether the Steelers can shut him down and stop him or not. But that's going to be your biggest threat on the Bengals team is going to be, again, Flacco. Can he get the ball to Chase and the Higgins? And they do got a nice little running back, Chase Brown, but they haven't been able to do much on the running game because their offensive line has been trashed. So the Steelers have to take advantage of that offensive line. Get in Flacco's face, knock him down, hitting, rattling early on the way to Flacco, stop the run so that they can't get any traction in that run game, and that way, that way they're limiting the offense. And then on the flip side, the offense has to take advantage of what may be the worst defense in the NFL. And on top of that, their star player, he's hurt. He's not the defensive lineman. He's hurt. He's not even possibly not even going to play on Thursday, tomorrow. And so without him, I mean, uh, they hardly got anybody. The Steelers got to be able to again do what good teams do: beat them while they're down. They got to take advantage of this opportunity and to play against a team who don't have their starting quarterback, who don't have their star defensive lineman, and be able to beat them and beat the brakes off of them. Make it a no doubter. Make it a no doubter. They need to be up 30-0 by halftime. Like I said last week against the Browns, they need to be up 30-0 by halftime and making them one dimensional, making sure that they only opportunity they have is to throw the ball and try to win the game, which plays right into the Steelers' hands. Because if you're gonna throw the ball, if you ain't got no choice but to throw the ball now, we can pin our ears back and we can come after the quarterback and get after him and sack him and cause havoc for him. So that's all I really got to say about the Bengals. Ain't nothing much to say. It is it could be a hostile environment, but man, who cares? We heading down there. In the morning to go sit in, I think it was Paycor Stadium and watch the Steelers beat the Bengals. tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football. So make sure y'all tune in to the game tomorrow. Hopefully the Steelers can get this win. They'll be 5-1. If they do win, they'll be 5-1. They'll have an extended a little mini bye because they'll probably be off for the weekend, all the way off until Monday or Tuesday, and then come back to work next Wednesday and get ready for this big game after that. I don't want to look ahead to that game because I don't want to create that kind of attitude where we looking past the Bengals and get ready for Green Bay because that's who we play after that. Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers versus Green Bay. Throwback jersey. And then they also are honoring. I think that's the Hall of Honor game where they're going to be they're going to be making Ben Roethlisberger, Marquise Pouncey, and man, I forget who the other guy was, but it's Pouncey, Ben Roethlisberger, and somebody else is going to the Steelers Hall of Honor. I believe that's at that Bengals. I mean that Green Bay game. So it's gonna be a good game. Gonna be some fun to be there at that game. But yeah, we need to take care of business with the Bengals so that we can be 5-1 and continue to have a stronghold on the AFC North. And another thing too, as I say this before I let you go, I was encouraged to hear Deshaun Elliott. They asked him about this, and Deshaun Elliott said, man, hey, he said, look, we not getting caught up in that. He said last year, we was 10-3 on our way to winning the division. And he said, we shook a honey iced tea to bed. We pooped in the bed. He said, yeah, he said, lost our last 5 games or whatever. I think it was 9-3. And they lost their last 5 games or something like that. And he's like, no, so we're not even falling for that trap. So that was good to hear. It's good to hear that, they thinking like that. They're singularly focused on just this game. They're not thinking about next week against Green Bay. They're thinking about how do we beat the Bengals, go up 5-1, be 2-0 in our division, and create even more distance between us and the other teams in the AFC North, so that eventually we could clinch the division and go forward. So excited about that. Excited about tomorrow. Again, I want to thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. Soon as we can get to 100 views, or not 100 views, 100 people who are subscribing to this, we'll be able to go live and do some lives. Facebook again won't let us be great because what I'm being told is that we can't do lives until this page actually has 100 people who is viewing it or who is subscribed to it. So I'm going to ask y'all to do me a favor. Please share these videos if you can on your Facebook page. Just share it. Those who are close to me, my family and friends, make sure you get your kids, nieces and nephews, all y'all. Just like the page. You ain't got to never watch it. I don't care. I mean, I don't care if you don't watch it or not, but support a brother and like the page. That way we can go live from week to week and we can have guests on here. I can't. That's another thing. I want to bring guests on here. We can't do that until we grow it some more. So we need to grow this page a little bit more, and I appreciate it if you help me do that. All right. So again, Steelers win big, 23-9 over Cleveland. Tomorrow we're getting ready for the Cincinnati Bengals. It's an away game. It's going to be on Prime Video. I think the local stations will carry it. If I'm not mistaken, it's probably going to be KDKA is going to carry it, and the NFL Network. So just so those of you who know, if you're looking for it, those of you who watch it from out of town, you probably ain't going to be able to see it on local television. You're going to have to watch it either through Prime Video or possibly through the NFL Network in order to watch the game tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football. But again, we'll come back next week. See y'all next week, and we'll be talking about what the Steelers did on tomorrow night, whether they came away with a win or not, and any other pertinent information, any injuries, or that's another thing I wanted to mention too. Yeah, shout out to Miles Killebrew, our special teams captain ace. He tore up his knee pretty bad. It looked like he's going to be out for the year. But wishing that brother speedy recovery and praying that he keep his head up and just tack his off season workouts and get ready for next year. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for joining me. Thank y'all for huddling up with me, talking Steelers football with John. I will see y'all next week, and may the Steelers beat the brakes off the Bengals. Who they think was going to beat them Bengals? We they. All right, y'all. Good night. Peace.